Could Rodrygo be Manchester United's next big signing? Everything you need to know. Manchester United fans have something exciting to talk about as transfer rumors heat up. The latest reports suggest that our club might be looking at one of Real Madrid's star players, Rodrygo. With the summer transfer window approaching, let's dive into everything we know about this potential move. The transfer rumor. What's happening? According to Spanish news outlet Sport, Manchester United are one of 4 Premier League clubs showing interest in Brazilian forward Rodrygo. The 23-year-old is reportedly thinking about his future at Real Madrid ahead of the summer transfer window. Why might Rodrygo be considering a move? The report suggests he may be concerned about his long-term future at the Spanish Giants. With Real Madrid constantly bringing in new talent, like Brazilian wonderkid Endrick, Rodrygo might be wondering how much playing time he'll get in the coming seasons. Manchester United aren't alone in their interest. The report names Manchester City, Liverpool, and Arsenal as other clubs keeping an eye on the situation. This makes sense. A player of Rodrygo's quality would improve almost any team in world football. Who is Rodrygo? For those who might not know much about him, Rodrygo Silva de Goes, known simply as Rodrygo, is a Brazilian professional footballer born on January 9, 2001. Currently, he plays as a right winger or forward for Real Madrid and the Brazil national team. Rodrygo began his career with Santos in Brazil, the same club that produced Neymar. After impressing as a young player, he made a €45 million move to Real Madrid in 2019. Since then, he's established himself as an important player for one of the world's biggest clubs. His achievements with Real Madrid are impressive. He's helped the club win 2 La Liga and Champions League doubles in 2022 and 2024, scored crucial goals in important Champions League matches, became known for his clutch performances in big games. On the international stage, Rodrygo has represented Brazil at the 2022 World Cup in Qatar and the 2024 Copa America in the United States. What makes Rodrygo special? Why would Manchester United want Rodrygo? Let's look at what makes him such a valuable player. 1. Versatility. Rodrygo can play in several positions across the forward line. He's primarily a right winger but can also play on the left or as a central forward. 2. Technical ability. He's known for his excellent dribbling skills, quick changes of direction, and creativity on the ball. 3. Goal scoring. Despite not being an out-and-out striker, Rodrygo has shown he can find the back of the net in crucial moments. 4. Big game mentality. Perhaps most importantly, Rodrygo has proven he can perform when it matters most. His goals against Manchester City in the 2022 Champions League semi-final, scoring twice in the final minutes to force extra time, showed his mental strength. 5. Work rate. Unlike some attacking players, Rodrygo is willing to press and work hard defensively, making him a good fit for the modern game. How would Rodrygo fit at Manchester United? Manchester United have been looking to strengthen their attack despite signing Rasmus Højlund last summer. Rodrygo's versatility would give the team several options. He could play on the right wing, a position where United have sometimes lacked consistency. He could provide competition and rotation options with players like Marcus Rashford on the left. His ability to play centrally would give United's manager tactical flexibility. Imagine a front 3 of Rashford, Højlund, and Rodrygo with Bruno Fernandes behind them. That's a forward line that could trouble any defense in the Premier League. What would it take to sign him? Here's where things get complicated. According to the report, Rodrygo has a release clause of €1 billion, yes, billion, in his contract with Real Madrid. Obviously, no club would pay that amount. However, the report suggests that if Rodrygo pushed for a move, Real Madrid might accept a fee of around €100 million, about £86 million. That's still a huge sum, but for a player of his quality and age, many would consider it reasonable in today's market. The question is, would Manchester United be willing to spend that amount? With Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos Group now handling football operations after their 25% takeover, the club's transfer strategy might be different from recent years. Is the transfer likely to happen? Despite the rumors, the report itself states that Rodrygo is unlikely to leave Real Madrid this summer. He signed a contract extension in November 2023, with his deal now running until June 2028. This suggests that Real Madrid see him as part of their long-term plans. For the transfer to happen, several things would need to align. 1. Rodrygo would have to push for a move. 2. Real Madrid would have to be willing to sell. 3. Manchester United would need to meet the asking price. 4. United would need to qualify for Champions League football to make themselves more attractive to a player of Rodrygo's caliber. What do the fans think? This is where we want to hear from you, Manchester United fans. Would Rodrygo be a good signing for the club? Is he worth the reported £86 million price tag? Consider these questions. Do we need another forward with Rashford, Garnacho, Antony, and Højlund already in the squad? Or would Rodrygo adapt well to the Premier League's physical style? Or should we focus on strengthening other positions first? Does his Champions League experience make him especially valuable? Rodrygo's playing style. A deeper look. Let's take a closer look at how Rodrygo plays and what he might bring to Old Trafford if he joined. Despite his small stature, Rodrygo makes up for any lack of physical strength with his technical ability. His low center of gravity allows him to change direction quickly, helping him beat defenders in one-on-one situations. What makes him different from many modern wingers is how he uses both feet. Although he's naturally right-footed, he doesn't always play as an inverted winger cutting inside from the left. Instead, he's comfortable on either flank. Under Carlo Ancelotti at Real Madrid, Rodrygo has played in multiple positions, as a traditional right winger, in a free role as a right-sided forward, as part of a front two with Vinicius Jr., in more central areas when needed. His decision-making in the final third stands out, knowing when to pass, when to shoot, and when to take on a defender. This maturity in his game is impressive for a player who's still just 23 years old. Memorable moments in Rodrygo's career. To understand what kind of player Rodrygo is, let's look at some of his standout performances. Champions League quarterfinal versus Chelsea, 2022. Coming on as a substitute, Rodrygo scored with a volleyed finish to send the game into extra time. Real Madrid eventually won and progressed to the semifinals. Champions League semifinal versus Manchester City 2022, with Real Madrid trailing 0-1 and 3-5 on aggregate. In the second leg, Rodrygo scored twice between the 90th and 91st minutes to level the tie and force extra time. Real Madrid went on to win and eventually lift the trophy. Copa del Rey final versus Osasuna 2023, Rodrygo scored both goals in a 2-1 win, helping Real Madrid secure their 20th Copa del Rey title. These performances show that he's a player who can rise to the occasion in the biggest games, something Manchester United have sometimes lacked in recent seasons. The financial aspect. Could United afford him? With a reported asking price of around £86 million, signing Rodrygo would be a major financial commitment for Manchester United. However, with Sir Jim Ratcliffe now involved in football operations, there might be a new approach to transfers. United have spent big in recent years with mixed results. The signings of players like Antony, Casemiro, and Jadon Sancho show that the club is willing to invest heavily when they believe in a player's quality. The question is whether Rodrygo represents better value than some of those previous big-money signings. At 23, he's entering what should be his prime years, and his proven track record at the highest level suggests he might be less of a risk than some other expensive transfers. What could prevent the transfer? Several factors might make this transfer difficult. 1. Real Madrid's reluctance to sell. Despite rumors about his future, Rodrygo is an important player for Madrid. They've recently invested in his contract extension. 2. Competition from other clubs. If he did become available, Manchester City, Liverpool, and Arsenal would provide strong competition. 3. Champions League football. Top players want to play in Europe's premier competition. United's chances of signing Rodrygo would be much stronger if they qualify for next season's Champions League. 4. Alternative targets. United might have other priorities in the transfer market, such as strengthening their defense or midfield. How would Rodrygo compare to United's current options? Manchester United already have several options in wide attacking positions. Marcus Rashford primarily plays on the left wing. Alejandro Garnacho has emerged as an exciting talent. Antony was signed for big money to play on the right. Amad Diallo has shown promising signs when given chances. Would Rodrygo be an upgrade on these players? In terms of consistent performance at the highest level, there's a strong case that he would be. His Champions League experience and proven ability to perform in big games would add something United have lacked. However, signing him might limit opportunities for younger players like Garnacho and Amad, who represent the future of the club. The bigger picture: United's transfer strategy. The potential pursuit of Rodrygo raises questions about Manchester United's overall transfer strategy. Under Sir Jim Ratcliffe's leadership, what kind of approach will the club take? Will they continue to target established stars for big money? Or will there be a shift toward younger, developing players with potential resale value? Rodrygo falls somewhere in between. He's young enough to have his best years ahead of him, but experienced enough to make an immediate impact. Would Rodrygo want the move? An important question that's often overlooked in transfer rumors is whether the player would actually want to join. The article doesn't mention if Rodrygo grew up supporting Manchester United, or if he'd be happy to make the move to England. Would he be willing to leave Real Madrid, one of the most successful clubs in world football? It would likely depend on his playing time at Madrid, the project at Manchester United, the manager in charge at Old Trafford, his personal ambitions. Conclusion: would this be a good move for United? After looking at all aspects of this potential transfer, it's time to consider whether Rodrygo would be a good signing for Manchester United. The positives are clear. He's a world-class talent with his best years ahead of him. His versatility would add options across the forward line. He has proven himself at the highest level of European football. His mentality in big games would be valuable to United. The negatives must also be considered. The high transfer fee could limit spending in other areas. United might have more pressing needs in defense or midfield. It could block the pathway for developing talents like Garnacho. As with any transfer rumor, we'll have to wait and see if anything develops. For now, it's exciting to be linked with players of Rodrygo's quality. It shows that despite recent challenges, Manchester United remains an attractive destination for top talent. What do you think, United fans? Would you welcome Rodrygo to Old Trafford? Or would you prefer the club to focus on other targets? Let us know in the comments. Could Kevin De Bruyne really join Manchester United? The transfer that would shock football. Have you ever thought about what would happen if one of Manchester City's best players moved to Manchester United? Sounds crazy, but there's a chance it could happen with Kevin De Bruyne. Let's look at how this shocking move might become reality, and what it would mean for both clubs and the Premier League. The end of De Bruyne's time at Manchester City? Kevin De Bruyne has been the heart of Manchester City since he joined in 2015. He's won numerous titles and is seen as one of the best midfielders in the world. His passing, vision, and leadership have helped City become the dominant team in England. But all good things come to an end. De Bruyne will be 34 years old next season, and his contract with City runs out in June 2025. This means he could leave for free and start talking to other clubs as early as January 2025. As players get older, injuries often become more common. De Bruyne has already had his share of time on the sidelines. Meanwhile, City has younger stars like Phil Foden and Bernardo Silva who are taking on bigger roles in the team. There's also talk that Pep Guardiola, City's manager who has worked closely with De Bruyne for years, might leave the club soon. If Pep goes, would De Bruyne want to stay? Why would De Bruyne consider Manchester United? Moving to your biggest rival is a huge step. So why would De Bruyne even think about joining United? First, it would be a chance to make football history. No player in the modern era has won Premier League titles with both Manchester clubs. If De Bruyne could help bring United back to the top, he would have a unique legacy in English football. Second, Manchester United's midfield needs help. Despite signing players like Bruno Fernandes and Mason Mount, they still lack consistency. De Bruyne would bring world-class quality and experience that could transform United's play. Third, Erik ten Hag's style of football could be perfect for De Bruyne. The United manager likes his teams to play with quick passing and movement, exactly what De Bruyne excels at. Finally, football stars often want one last big challenge before their career ends. Moving to United and trying to return them to glory would certainly be a massive challenge. The free transfer opportunity. The most interesting part of this possible move is that United could sign De Bruyne without paying City a transfer fee. Since his contract ends in June 2025, he can sign a pre-contract agreement with any club from January 2025. This would be a huge opportunity for United. They could use the money they save on a transfer fee to offer De Bruyne a very attractive salary and signing bonus. For a player of his quality, clubs would normally pay £80 to £100 million. Getting him for free would be amazing business. Has this kind of move happened before? Transfers between Manchester City and Manchester United don't happen often, but they're not impossible. Here are a few examples. Carlos Tevez left United in 2009 and joined City, causing a lot of drama at the time. Owen Hargreaves moved from United to City in 2011 after being released. Peter Schmeichel, a United legend, played for City before retiring. Though he didn't move directly between the clubs, none of these moves were as De Bruyne would be, but they show that the Manchester divide can be crossed. What if Guardiola leaves City? One thing that could make this move more likely is if Pep Guardiola leaves Manchester City. There have been rumors that he might step down at the end of the 2024-25 season. De Bruyne and Guardiola have a special relationship. If Pep leaves, De Bruyne might feel it's the right time for him to move on too. City would be starting a new chapter without Guardiola, and De Bruyne might prefer a fresh challenge elsewhere rather than adapting to a new manager at City. How would United players react? Adding a superstar like De Bruyne to any team changes the dynamics. But Manchester United's current squad would likely welcome him with open arms. United has many young talents like Alejandro Garnacho and Kobbie Mainoo, who could learn so much from someone with De Bruyne's experience. Even established stars like Bruno Fernandes would benefit from playing alongside one of the world's best passers. De Bruyne is known for his professionalism and work ethic. These qualities would earn him respect in the United dressing room, regardless of his City past. What about the fans? This is where things get complicated. How would fans react to such a move? City fans would be hurt to see their hero join their biggest rivals. However, if City decides not to offer De Bruyne a new contract, some fans might understand his decision to stay in the Premier League with another top club. United fans would probably have mixed feelings at first. But football fans are practical. If De Bruyne starts helping United win games, they would embrace him quickly. Just imagine if he scored the winning goal against City in his first derby in a red shirt. The business side of the deal. Beyond football, this transfer would be huge for Manchester United as a business. De Bruyne shirts would sell in massive numbers. Social media engagement would explode. The global interest in United would increase. Sponsors would love the additional exposure. For United's owners, signing De Bruyne would make sense both on and off the pitch. How would De Bruyne fit into United's team? If De Bruyne joined Manchester United, manager Erik ten Hag would have several options for how to use him. He could play as part of a midfield three, with someone like Casemiro or Mainoo providing defensive cover. This would give De Bruyne freedom to create chances and control the game. Or he could play alongside Bruno Fernandes in a more advanced role, with the two creative players feeding strikers like Rasmus Højlund or Marcus Rashford. De Bruyne's passing range would be perfect for United's fast attackers. His crosses and through balls could help Rashford and Garnacho score more goals. He would also improve United's set pieces and add leadership in big games. Can United afford De Bruyne? Even without a transfer fee, signing De Bruyne would be expensive. His current salary at City is very high, and he would expect similar or better terms at United. However, United could afford it. They have one of the biggest budgets in world football, and some of their current high earners might leave soon. Players like Anthony Martial, Raphael Varane, and potentially Casemiro could free up space on the wage bill. A 2-year deal with the option for a third year would make sense for a player of De Bruyne's age. United could offer him around £350,000 to £400,000 per week, plus a significant signing bonus. What obstacles stand in the way? While this move is possible, there are several things that could prevent it. 1. Manchester City might offer De Bruyne a new contract to keep him or at least stop him from joining United. 2. Other big clubs like Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, or MLS teams might make attractive offers. 3. De Bruyne himself might feel too loyal to City to consider joining their rivals. For this transfer to happen, United would need to approach the situation carefully. They would need to show De Bruyne a clear plan for how he would fit into the team and help them challenge for major trophies. What would this mean for Manchester? This transfer wouldn't just change the two teams, it would change the whole city of Manchester. For years, City has been the dominant team. Signing their star player would be a huge statement from United that they're fighting to reclaim their position at the top. Every Manchester derby would become even more intense. Imagine the atmosphere when De Bruyne plays against his former club for the first time. The rivalry between the clubs would reach new heights. Is this move really possible? So, could Kevin De Bruyne really swap the blue of City for the red of United? It's not likely, but it's not impossible either. Football has seen many surprising transfers over the years. Few thought Cristiano Ronaldo would return to United, or that Luis Figo would move from Barcelona to Real Madrid. But they happened. The key factors will be whether City offers De Bruyne a new contract, what De Bruyne wants for the final years of his career, if United qualifies for the Champions League, who else shows interest in signing him. What would it mean for De Bruyne's legacy? If De Bruyne made this move, it would change how football fans remember him. Instead of being just a Manchester City legend, he would be seen as someone who made a brave and controversial choice to take on a new challenge. Some City fans would never forgive him, but others might respect his decision if he handled it with class. For neutral fans, it would add an interesting chapter to his already impressive career story. The most important thing for De Bruyne would be his performance at United. If he helped them win trophies, his legacy would be secure as one of the Premier League's greatest ever midfielders, someone who succeeded at the highest level with two different clubs. Would this be good for Manchester United? From United's perspective, signing De Bruyne would have both pros and cons. Pros: immediate improvement to the team, leadership and experience, weakening a rival, commercial benefits, a statement of ambition. Cons: high wages for an aging player, potential disruption to team chemistry, a risk of injuries as he gets older, backlash from some fans. On balance, if the opportunity arose, United would probably feel the benefits outweigh the risks. Players of De Bruyne's quality don't become available very often, especially for free. Questions for United fans. What do you think about this possible transfer? Here are some questions to consider. Would you welcome Kevin De Bruyne at Old Trafford despite his City history? Do you think he could help United win the Premier League again? Would you prefer United to sign younger players instead? How would you feel if De Bruyne scored against City while wearing a United shirt? Conclusion: dream or reality? As Kevin De Bruyne enters what could be his final season with Manchester City, football fans will be watching closely. Will he sign a new contract? Will he look for a new challenge abroad? Or will he make the shocking move across Manchester? While this transfer remains unlikely, it's not completely impossible. Football has taught us to never say never. The emotional impact of such a move would be enormous for both clubs and their fans. If United could pull off this signing, it would be one of the biggest transfer coups in Premier League history. It would show they're serious about returning to the top of English football. For now, this remains a fascinating what-if scenario. But by this time next year, we might be talking about it as the transfer story of the decade. What do you think? Could you see Kevin De Bruyne in a Manchester United shirt? Let us know in the comments.